We'll start out seated for this practice. You can take a tall seat with the legs crossed. If you like, you can sit on a block or a cushion, something to take the hips higher. The hamstrings and the hip flexors don't really want to cooperate right now. Take the hands out to the knees, letting the tailbone root down into the ground, closing the eyes, finding the breath, noticing the length of the inhales and the exhales. Every inhale, taking the breath a little longer. Inhaling up to the crown of the head. Exhaling down into the base of the spine. Inhale to feel the ribcage expand. Exhale to press out the whole breath. Taking your inhales and exhales to an even length. Trying to keep this length through the whole practice. Taking a moment to set an intention for your practice today. It can be for the rest of the day, the rest of your week. Something you'd like to work on. Make it positive. Make it present. I am calm. I am whole. I am worthy, whatever you need. Bow your head to your chest to seal in your intention. We'll blink the eyes open, taking the head back up. We'll stay seated for the first few movements. Taking the hands down on either side of the hips. Inhaling to raise the arms up, sinking the arms with the inhale, letting the pose peak as the inhale ends. Exhale to reach the hands wide, opening up the arms, resting down on either side of the hips. Inhale to raise the arms back up. Exhale, arms wide. Inhale to raise the arms, interlacing the fingers overhead, pressing the palms up, keeping shoulders wide. Exhale, hands reach around to the sides, interlacing behind the back. Inhale, shoulders open, chest forwards. Head can tip back just a bit. Exhale, releasing hands down at the hips. Inhale, arms raise, interlacing fingers, palms turn up. Exhale, release hands wide. Interlace at the low back. Inhale, shoulders back. Exhale, release. Inhale, arms raise, palms turn high. Keeping the fingers interlaced, we'll draw the hands down in front of heart center, peeling the shoulder blades apart, rounding the back slightly, hands in front of heart center. Inhale to raise. Exhale, release hands down, interlacing at the low back. Inhale, chest high. Exhale, release. Taking the knees together. We'll roll forwards onto hands and knees. Letting the hips sink back to a child's pose. Taking a few breaths here. Feeling like the hands are pressing into the ground. Forehead can rest. Taking one more full breath. After your exhale, fingers spread wide. We'll inhale to move forwards to a cow pose. Shoulders reach back, belly drops, heart opens. Exhale, back to a child's pose. Inhale, forwards to cow. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale to cow. Exhale, rounding to cat, pressing up the space between the shoulder blades, tucking tailbone and chin. Inhale to cow. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale, forwards to cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale to cow. Tucking the toes, pressing the hips back to a down dog. You can leave the knees bent. pressing the chest back towards the thighs. Keeping long in the spine, letting the head release. Starting to pedal through both sides. Pressing one heel down to the mat, bending opposite knee. On your exhale, pressing back through both hips, both heels. Inhale to walk up to the top of the mat into a forward fold. Weight can tip forwards to the ball of the foot or the toes, letting the head release. Crossing the arms, taking an elbow in each hand. We'll nod the head yes, and shake it no. On your exhale, hands come back down to the ground. Inhale, up to a half lift, spine straight out from the hips, shoulders back. Exhale, fold. Inhale to raise all the way up, hands overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Taking the feet, making sure they're hip width apart. Standing with a purpose, core engaged. We'll inhale to raise the arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale to a half lift. Exhale, fold, planting the hands. We'll step back to a plank or kneeling plank. Keeping elbows hugged in, exhale to lower down onto the ground. Taking hands in front of shoulders, we'll peel the hands and arms off, coming up to a low cobra without the arms. Exhale, hands around the rib cage, pressing knees in, we'll move back to a child's pose. Taking 2 breaths. After your exhale, inhale to walk the hands over to the right side of the mat, breathing through left shoulder and left ribs. Forehead can rest. After your exhale, walking the hands back to the center, breathing in a child's pose. Taking the hands over to the left side of the mat, breathing in through left shoulder and left ribs, keeping the left side long. On your inhale, coming back to the middle, taking the breath in the center, fingers spread wide. On your inhale, moving forwards to cow. Exhale, rounding to cat. Inhale to cow. Tucking the toes, pressing the hips back to a down dog. Taking 2 breaths here. After your exhale, inhale to come up to the top of the mat, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up, hands overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms raise. Exhale, fold. Inhale to a half lift. Exhale, fold, planting the hands, stepping back to plank or kneeling plank. Exhale to lower down onto the ground. Taking fingertips wide away from the shoulders, open chest. We'll inhale to raise out, fingertip cobra. Exhale, hands around the rib cage, tucking the toes, pressing up through the knees or feet, up to a down dog. Taking a breath. After your exhale, inhale to raise the right leg up to 3-legged dog. Down dog, exhale. Inhale, left leg raises. Exhale to set down. Inhale to come back up to the top of the mat, half lift. Interlacing the hands at the low back or grabbing a strap to take more length in between the hands. Exhaling to fold, knees can bend, letting the hands fall behind the head. One more breath. After your exhale, inhale to a half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up, hands overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Taking the breath. Inhale, arms raise overhead. Exhale, fold, planting the hands. Inhale, right leg steps back to a runner's lunge. You can come up onto fingertips or blocks, keeping the front knee over the ankle. Back leg is strong, back knee pulling up. On your exhale, back knee drops down onto the ground. Inhale to take hands to left knee, behind the hips or overhead, opening the chest, keeping a curve through the back toes, up to fingertips or the crown of the head. One more inhale. Exhale, hands down around the front foot. Inhale to take the back knee off, sweeping left leg up and back to three-legged dog. Exhale, down dog. Taking a breath. On your inhale, coming up to the top of the mat, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up, hands overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms raise. Exhale, fold, planting the hands. Inhale, left leg steps back, runner's lunge. Front knee 90 degrees. Long arms, reaching the head forwards. On your exhale, back knee drops onto the ground. Inhale, hands to right knee, behind the hips or overhead, reaching chest forwards. One more inhale. Exhale, hands down around the front foot. Inhale, back knee off, right leg up and back to three-legged dog. Exhale to down dog. Adjusting the feet as you need, taking 2 breaths here. After your exhale, knees come down onto the ground. Walking the hands up to the stand on the knees, we'll take hands behind the hips. Pressing hips forward, raising shoulders, elbows back, chest high, coming to a camel prep. Letting hips reach past the knees if they can, keeping heart open. Exhale to sit the hips back onto the heels. Taking the body over to one side, we'll open up to a wide leg seat. Keeping knees and toes up towards the ceiling, hands come behind the hips, raising chest high, shoulders back. Exhale to walk the hands forwards. Every inhale, thinking of keeping the spine long. Every exhale, reaching the head and the chest forwards, trying to keep out of the low back, not rounding, but keeping an extended spine. After your exhale, inhale to come back up. Taking the soles of the feet together, we'll come into a diamond pose. Heels pressed away from the hips, knees are at 90 degrees, so wider than our normal butterfly pose. Hooking hands to the knees or shins, reaching spine long. Exhale to fold, hands down to the ankles or toes. Same idea with the low back, trying to reach forward instead of down. One more breath. After your exhale, inhale to walk the hands back up. We'll take the knees together. Coming back to face the top of the mat. Hands can hook underneath the knees, reaching shoulders back. Coming into your version of a boat pose today. You can leave the toes on the ground, trying to take some strength into the core, but leaving the weight into the hands. If you'd like, hands can release at the sides, maybe taking the feet up, taking your pose for the day. We'll do 3 more breaths here. After your exhale, crossing the legs, we'll move forwards to a tall seat. Hands on the knees, closing the eyes, coming back to your intention. Inhaling from the base of the spine up to the crown. Exhale down into the base of the spine. Hooking the hands onto the front of the knees. Inhale to open chest forward, shoulders reach back. Exhale, rounding to a cat spine, reaching tailbone and chin forwards. Inhale, back to cow. Exhale to release. Taking the knees back together, we'll come into a seated figure 4. Crossing the right ankle over the top of the left leg. We'll walk the hands behind the hips, keeping right knee pressing away from the chest. If you'd like, we can slide left foot closer to the hips, taking this pose at your edge. You can move back and forth a little, reaching into both sides of the hip. After your exhale, we'll shrink the elbows back to come out of the pose. Switching sides, left ankle over the right thigh. Taking chest towards the shin. You can move into both sides, keeping the breath even. On your exhale, releasing elbows back. We'll slide the hips back to have room for the legs out in front. Taking hands behind the hips, chest high. Exhale to walk the hands behind the knees, calves or feet, keeping the head reaching towards the toes. After your exhale, inhale to walk the hands back up, taking the right knee into the chest. Right foot can come up and over the outside of the left thigh, keeping both hips down. Inhale, left arm raises. Exhale to twist hand or elbow to the outside of the knee, right hand behind the hips, keeping the spine long. Reaching the right shoulder back, gaze can follow. After your exhale, inhale, left arm raises. Exhale to sit down. Switching sides, right leg long, left knee into the chest. Left foot comes up and over. Inhaling, right arm high. Exhale to twist, elbow or hand to the outside of the knee. Taking left hand behind, we'll open up the chest. After your exhale, inhale, right arm raises. Exhale to set down. Scooching the hips forwards, we'll come into a bridge pose. We'll release the spine down, taking hands alongside the hips. Feet are about hip width. Curling the tailbone off the ground, we'll raise the hips up in line with the knees and shoulders, pressing shoulders back to come up to our bridge. Exhale to roll the spine back down, engaging to let the core Let the tailbone set down last. Inhale to curve the tailbone back up, hips high for bridge. Exhale to lower. One more pass. Inhale, reach high. Hold in here for a few breaths. One more inhale. Exhale to reach back down. Taking the hands pressed out towards the knees, we'll bring the legs in to meet the hands. Pressing both in together, we'll take the low back curve down to the ground, engaging the muscles of the core, the hips, front of the body might shake, hugging the knees into the chest. Taking the hands to the outside of both knees, we'll bring the legs wide, letting shoulders, elbows release to the sides. Breathing into the inside of the legs and the navel center. Coming into a happy baby if you'd like. Elbows inside the knees, hands to the outside of the feet, reaching shoulders back. On your exhale, taking the soles of the feet together, outside edges of the feet can come down onto the ground below the hips, letting knees fall wide to a reclined butterfly pose. Hands on the stomach or release to the sides. Taking your breath into the navel center, feeling the belly rise. Exhale to release the hips and the knees wide. Taking the knees back together. And take any other poses that you'd like, anything else that you need. Your most comfortable Shavasana, any other twists, or taking knees back into the chest. When you're ready, releasing the legs long. Hands can come down on either side of the hips, feeling where the body presses into the ground. Taking your awareness into the heart center. Every inhale, feeling the chest rise. Exhale, feel the space between the shoulder blades release into the ground. Inhaling into the back of the head, feeling where it rests. Exhale to release the muscles of the face, the jaw, and the throat. Taking your breath into the shoulders, the arms, feeling where they press into the mat. On your exhale, releasing the elbows, the wrists, and the hands. Inhaling into navel center, feeling the belly rise. Exhale to release the hips, release to the ground. Breathing down into the legs, feeling where the back of the legs, the heels rest. Exhale to release the knees, the ankles, and the feet. Taking your breath down into the tips of the toes. Inhaling from the toes up to the crown of the head. Exhale into the tip of the toes. Inhale from toes to crown. Exhale back to the toes. Inhale to crown. Exhale to ankles. Inhale to crown. Exhale to the knees. Inhale to crown. Exhale to the base of the spine. Inhale to crown. Exhale to navel center. Inhale to crown. Exhale to heart center. Inhale to crown. Exhale to throat center. Inhale to crown. Exhale to the point between the eyes. Inhale to crown. Exhale to the point between the eyes. Inhale to crown. Exhale to throat center. Inhale, crown. Exhale to heart center. Inhale to crown. Exhale to navel center. Inhale to crown. Exhale to the base of the spine. Inhale to crown. Exhale to the knees. Inhale to crown. Exhale to the ankles. Inhale to crown. Exhale to the tip of the toes. Inhale to crown. Exhale through the whole body, staying with the breath for the next few moments. Taking your awareness back into heart center, feeling the chest rise, feeling where the back of the head rests. Taking your awareness into the shoulders and the hips, into the knees, the elbows, the throat center, to the point between the eyes, the wrists and the ankles, to the tips of the toes, tips of the fingers, and the crown of the head, starting to wiggle the fingers and the toes, bending the ankles and the wrists, letting the head rock from side to side, starting to move the elbows, gently drawing the knees up, taking the knees into the chest, breathing here. Being aware of anything on either side of you, rolling onto one side, Gently taking the hands into the ground, keeping eyes closed or the gaze low. We'll come up to a tall seat, letting the legs cross, hands out to the knees. Feeling where the hip bones press into the ground, inhaling up to the crown. Exhale into the base of the spine. Inhale to feel the rib cage press into the arms. Exhale to press out the whole breath, taking your awareness to the intention that you set at the beginning of your practice. Take it with you through the rest of your day, your week, however long you need it. Bringing the hands into heart center, bowing your head to your chest, acknowledging the work that you've done for yourself, your breath, your peace, and all that you are. Namaste.